I want you to think of wood grain like a bunch of straws. We're going to use this bundle of glue sticks so it's easier to see. But if you look at the tree from the side, you will see a long trunk, like a branch. If you look at the tree from the top, you will see something like this, a wood slice. If you were to slice the tree like this and open it up long ways, you would see something like this. The reason we're bringing this up is so that you can better understand how liquid and wood finish flows into the wood grain depending on how it's cut. You see, there's three main types of wood grain orientation. And the first one we talked about, just like the tree, the top-down image, is end grain. Grain that is at the end of the straws like this. And so liquids will naturally want to go straight down because, remember, the trees are built like straws. Then we have face grain, which is something like this. When you take the tree and you slice it, you can see all these straws are running lengthwise down the board like this. So when you apply a liquid to the surface, it's going to want to wick outwards and follow the wood grain out to the edges like so. So when you are working with end grain versus face grain, you're going to have a completely different behavior with your wood finish and with your Scorch Marker and other paints and other things you might want to use. There's also a third type of wood grain, which is called edge grain, which is if you were to take this board and cut it this way, that piece that would be exposed right here on the top edge would be considered your edge grain. I have a good example of it right here. Here's a wooden block, a piece of pine, and if you look right here, you'll have the face grain, right? The large face, and you can see that the straws are running this direction. The grain is. And then if you look at the edge grain, which we just talked about, you can see the straws are also running in this direction. The straws have just been cut off on one side, and so edge grain behaves very similar to face grain. And then we have end grain, which is where the straws go through the wood. End grain is always the best type of grain to use with your Scorch Marker because the liquid will be sucked straight downwards and not outwards. This will make your lines really, really crisp and really, really clean. Now that we have a better understanding of how wood grain works, I'm going to give you a quick little quiz and see if you can figure out what type of wood grain these pieces are. Okay, we're going to start with this one, our popcorn bar. Is this face grain, end grain, or edge grain? You're right, it's face grain. What about this part right here? That's end grain. So you can have multiple types of grain on one piece of wood. It all depends on your orientation and how you look at it. I hope you learned something from this video because it's really important that you understand the intricacies of how wood works so that your crafting projects can look as good as they possibly can. If you have any questions or you want us to add any more information, please shoot us an email, a DM, a message. We would love to hear from you. We love talking to our customers, and you can always reach out to me personally, Evan at scorchmarker.com. Happy crafting. We'll see you on the next one.